All right. Now let us say hello to the man who will be fighting Ben Askren on April 17th. Parts unknown, at least for now. He is one of the most popular characters on the internet, the very polarizing, the very controversial Jake Paul, 2-0 as a pro boxer, 1-0 as an amateur. It just broke this morning. It's going to be Jake Paul versus Ben Askren, April 17th, an 8-round pro boxing match, 10-ounce gloves, 20 by 20 ring. All those things and more will be discussed right here in my first conversation with Jake Paul. It is nice to meet you, sir. How are you?
Good, man. Good. Yo, hearing like you're the first person I've like heard it from like say it out loud. Let's go, bro. Like that sounded really nice. April 17th, 10-ounce gloves, pro fight. Man, this is my first headlining event and hearing you say that, man, I'm excited.
Well, congratulations. So let me ask you, it did seem after the Nate Robinson fight that a lot of people were coming after you. You had a lot of suitors. You could have chosen a lot of people. Ultimately, why did you choose Ben Askren as your next opponent?
Yeah, we were talking about five or six guys, MMA fighters, some celebrities, an NFL guy, and when it came down to the ink meeting the paper and then being like green lighting this and being like, let's do this, these guys, it turned out a lot of them weren't as serious as we thought. I think people don't like to give me props for my boxing ability, but deep down they're like, damn, this kid can fight. And Ben Askren was really the only one who was serious about it and that wanted to make it happen and was ready to go. So kudos to him. But there was guys like Dillon Danis. I wanted to make that fight happen. He was all over social media. I threw like muddy, piss-filled toilet paper at his face. Like people wanted that fight. People wanted me to fight Ben Askren. People wanted me to fight McGregor. People wanted me to fight Diaz. I think all of those fights will happen eventually, but Dillon Danis blamed a knee injury. Conor McGregor just lost. Nate Diaz is tied up by the UFC. Ben Askren was really the only one ready to go, and he has less losses than McGregor. So, you know, and he's a legit fighter. He's finished 12 people in his professional career, and so for me, it's a perfect fight because people want to see me fight a real fighter. They think that this YouTube kid is going to get knocked out by a real fighter.
Did you pick Ben Askren because he was the easiest one to knock out? There are a lot of people who say he was knocked out in 5 seconds by Jorge Masvidal. His stand-up isn't very good. Did you pick him because he was the easiest opponent?
No, I think Danis would be the easiest opponent. Askren has 20 something MMA fights, has been in with Robbie Lawler, the tough guys. I think anyone would have been knocked out by Masvidal's knee. That knee that landed was deadly. It would have knocked anyone out. So I think Danis would have been the easiest fight by far. But these MMA guys, just because they throw punches doesn't mean they can box. This is why I'm so confident in my ability to destroy these guys, is because they have no head movement. They're slow. They, aren't going to the gym every day and boxing. They're throwing elbows, kicks, wrestling, jujitsu. The list goes on. Boxing's an art. MMA is a brawl. And that is why I'm calling out all these people. And you're going to see, people will see. I say it every single time. I say it in every single interview. I predict when I'm going to knock these people out. I predict what the media is going to say. People are just going to see one by one. Ben Askren gets knocked out. Danis gets knocked out. Diaz gets knocked out. It's going to happen. And people will replay this interview and be like, wow, this kid really just predicted all of this.
So when will you knock him out? What's your prediction for this?
You know, I've been talking with my team about this. I'm too sharp right now. And we're 82 days away from the fight. April 17th is in 82 days. And, just in practice this morning, I'm too sharp. I'm too fast. We wanted to be nice and say like, hey, it could go 3 rounds. He has a good chin. I just think by the end of this camp, it'll end up being a 1 to 2 round fight. He's slow, and my speed will immediately show, and he will be getting hit from every single angle, and there's not much he can do. And he has never had a boxing match, so it's different than MMA. You can't just when you're hurt, you can't just shoot your little takedown, Ben. Can't do that, buddy. Sorry.
He told me earlier today he predicts a 7th round TKO of you. What's your response to that?
My response is go Google Ben Askren striking. It's not gonna go that long. It's not gonna go that long. I don't even think he'll hit me. I haven't been hit one time in the face in my past 2 fights. So I haven't even been punched as a pro boxer one time. Nate Robinson landed 1 body shot in a clinch. I don't think Ben Askren will even hit me. That's my prediction.
So your response to that was go Google Ben Askren's striking. I know I see all the gifs and all that stuff. So and clearly you don't respect his striking. So then it goes back to the previous question: why Ben Askren? Like
I don't respect a lot of MMA fighters striking.
Gotcha. Okay.
Like even watching Poirier, he did a great job against McGregor, but he's in South Florida. Poirier is. And so I'm putting this out there. I would love Poirier. I would love to spar you in boxing, because when I see these guys, their stand-up game, we're like, I don't know. It doesn't impress me, a lot of these MMA guys. So I want to go spar Poirier. So Poirier, if you're watching this, let's get in touch, because I would love to set up a sparring session. You can help me out with my fight for Askren. But I don't know. I'm not impressed with these guys boxing at all.
You mentioned Dillon Danis. He's been very vocal today, posting things online, DMs, all that stuff, saying that you ran away from him, that he was ready to go. Can you clear the air? Would you have fought Dillon Danis on April 17th? In other words, why isn't Dillon Danis your next opponent?
Yeah,
it seemed like that was the one that we were building towards.
Yeah, so I put the biggest offer he's ever received on the table.
How much?
7 figures.
Okay.
And we know, he's probably getting 50 to 100K to fight in Bellator. This is the biggest offer. He lives at his mom's house. That's a fact. Like, this guy lives with his mom in New York somewhere, or New Jersey. And he wanted so badly to fight in the summer, I think because he wanted to train, like have extra months to train because of his knee injury. But that knee injury was over a year and a quarter. Like, it was literally 15 months ago, his knee injury. So I don't get how you could still blame that. Plus, he's posting videos sparring on his Instagram. And so we're talking to his manager, Audi, about the McGregor fight and about the Danis fight. We showed them the $50 million proof of funds for the McGregor fight. They kind of go silent. Then we're talking about the Danis fight, and they're like, well, we want to do 1 MMA, 1 boxing. Dillon's a big name. He knows how to draw a crowd. But we have to do it in the summer because his knee injury. Guys, the fight's happening with or without Dillon. We're not waiting till then. The fight is happening late March or April. That's what we told them. We put the biggest offer they've ever received on the table, and they're blaming a knee injury. I think Dillon and I will fight eventually. Maybe not after he sees what I do to Ben. I think legitimately Dillon knows how good my hands are, and he's trolling. He's commenting on. He knows how to use social media. But when the rubber meets the road, this guy can't strike either. He's a jiu-jitsu guy. So he's capping. I'll fight anyone, and I have a list of people, and they're all gonna get crossed off eventually.
You referenced the $50 million offer to Conor McGregor. How close to that number is Ben Askren making on April 17th?
Nowhere near that. Nowhere near that.
Is he making 7 figures?
I don't know. I can't say. I don't want to reveal like contract details or anything like that. But yeah,
What about you? How much do you stand to earn from this?
A lot.
More than the Nate Robinson fight?
A lot. Yeah, a lot. That's all I say. I mean, look, I had one of the most viral knockouts in history, and people say, "Oh, he's cocky or he's boasting," whatever. That's just a fact. Due to social media, due to the awareness of it, I have grandmas coming up to me and being like, "Oh, you're the one that knocked out Nate Robinson." Like everyone saw it. And that event did almost 2 million pay-per-view buys, 8th biggest pay-per-view in history. So when you come off a fight like that, I have a lot of steam and momentum behind me, and that's just the way it is. And I'm a businessman at the end of the day. This is a show business. There's the show, and then there's the business. I'm a prize fighter. I do this for a prize. I'm not just fighting for the bit. So that's what excites me about this sport. Everything about it, but there's a reason why Mayweather was one of the highest paid athletes of all time, and that's my goal, and that's what I will achieve in the next 5 years.
You see what other boxers make. Those purses are generally disclosed and they're fairly accurate. MMA as well, those aren't as accurate. But based on what you see, like where would you put yourself in terms of highest paid fighters right now?
Top 5.
Top 5. Wow. Could I ask? This is the first time we've had a chance to talk. When did this dream start for you? Because I don't know if you've seen some of my stuff with DC and others. I respect your skills, and I could tell that you're taking this very seriously. I don't think that you are a sideshow. I mean, I know you're not fighting top level guys, but you're also 2-0. Like, no one fights top level guys at 2-0. So it's clear to me that you're taking this very seriously. It's also clear to me that you have skills. Like, I think a lot of people have a hard time saying that. I have no problem saying that. I'm just wondering when the dream started for you to be about, like, was this something you always wanted to do, or did someone kind of lead you down this path?
I've always been a competitive athlete. I was a Division I Ohio State wrestler, had over 200 wrestling matches, was a football player, all state. I can run a 4.4 40-second yard dash. But I moved to LA when I was 17 to act and become famous and create content. And that's what I did. And that's how I built my brand, by making content, marketing myself, acting, doing YouTube, doing my business, all that stuff. And so when I was doing all that, I wasn't competing. And so when these YouTubers and everyone started fighting, I was the first wave of that. And after my first amateur W, we sold 1 million pay-per-views the first event. They sold out Manchester Arena, 30,000 people were there. And I got a knockout in the 5th round, and I fell in love with the sport. And I was like, wow, this is fun. This is exciting. It's everything I love to do. And I just had this like burning desire just to keep going. And it's only growing and growing and growing. And when, I call it the boxing bug. And I feel like I was literally put on this earth to do this.
What is the end goal? Like, do you want to legitimately be considered one of the greatest boxers of all time? Are you happy doing these kinds of fights? Ultimately, what is the dream here?
If you told me 3 years ago, this is what I would be doing, like headlining a global pay-per-view event in my 3rd fight ever, breaking a pay-per-view, record in my 2nd fight ever, I just wouldn't believe you. So to gauge where this could possibly go in 1 to 2 to 3 fights, it wouldn't even be smart to try and say. This could become 4 times as big 2 fights from now. I think my ultimate goal is to knock out someone like a Nate Diaz and or a Conor McGregor, or and just to make history, man. Like, and just have fun doing it. Break records. Triller put on one of the best boxing events we've seen. Musical performances, everything about it was just shocking. Mike Tyson coming back, Israel Adesanya commentating. It was one of the best events, and that's what we plan on doing April 17th. Breaking more records, shattering pay-per-view numbers, musical performances, crazy undercards. It's gonna be April 17th is gonna be a movie.
Do you have any interest in MMA? Would you ever cross over, or do you think you'll stick with boxing?
Again, it's like, who knows? I don't see that happening anytime soon, but I could get that itch. I just like boxing because it's art. Like, you can control what happens. MMA, you throw a wild knee, wild punch. There's just so much at stake. It's more like a street fight. I like boxing because it's like more of a sport and more of an art to me.
At any point, you foresee yourself fighting, just the regular guy that you would fight when you're 10-0, 12-0, 13-0, not necessarily a celebrity, another athlete, a YouTuber, just at some point you just kind of foresee yourself being on that path to, just regular boxers, right? Because you haven't done that yet.
I think if the business makes sense,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you know, I'm not here to have 45 fights and try to, do all of that. I'm here to do good business and to have fun and to put on massive events. You see Floyd Mayweather, engaging with my brother. Like those are the fights I want. Big fights that are going to make history and break pay-per-view records. I'm not here to do anything small. So if it makes sense and it's big names and big pay-per-views, then I'm down.
Speaking of your brother, Logan Paul, he also boxes. He will be competing against Floyd next month. Are you guys close?
Yeah. Yeah.
I saw afterward you said, you put a couple of pictures up like who should I fight next, and he was one of them.
Yeah. I mean, I think people want to see us fight, and it's always been a conversation. So we kind of just like keep it alive, and that we both have egos. There's egos back and forth. Like he says he can beat me, I say I could beat him, and I think like I said, that would be like a historic thing. No brothers on that big of a scale have ever fought. You saw Klitschko brothers didn't fight. The Charlo brothers haven't fought. So who knows?
You would do it though, if the dollars made sense.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, but at the end of the day, also he's my brother. So I don't know. I think it'd just be a conversation that we would have to have, and if the timing of it ever does make sense, then maybe. But it could also never happen.
Who's the better fighter?
Me, hands down. And I say that based off of like my record. I'm 3-0 with 3 KOs.
Right.
He's 0-1-1. So it's hard to really argue with that. People think because he's older, he's better. He has a podcast and he's always constantly talking about how he's better. So people like are brainwashed by that. But he knows it deep down. He said it too. He's kind of like taking steps back and sort of reversed that thought about me being the better fighter. But he said it before, and I'm just more active. He hasn't fought in 18 months. I've fought twice, literally in the past year, and fighting again. So I'm staying active and just training more than him. So.
Why do you think your presence in boxing bothers people so much? It's amazing to me. Like even today, breaking the news, the text I got like, "Oh, Jake Paul, why are you reporting on Jake Paul? Ignore this guy, all this stuff." And the old school boxing media, I feel, doesn't want to cover you. And then the old school fighters, there are some obviously like Tyson, he gave you the rub, but it just seems like your presence in boxing, while it does seem like you're taking it seriously, you're surrounding yourself with respected people like BJ Flores and Shane Mosley prior. For some reason, it bothers people immensely. Why do you think that is?
I think people don't like change. I don't think they can comprehend how good this is for the sport. I'm literally bringing I have 50 million followers across all my social media platforms. That's like 24 and under. I'm bringing a whole entire new audience to boxing that's going to grow the sport. What I'm doing here is only positive. And so I think people who don't like change, the boomers, the baby boomer generation who is just going to hate on any kid that wants to become successful. I think there's a lot of jealousy. I'm making more money than these people who have been in the sport for all this time. And so, of course, when there's money and greed and envy, like that's going to show through emotion and they're going to hate. At the end of the day, these guys are just haters. I'm loud, I'm cocky, I'm young, and I'm just doing shit differently. I don't need the promoter. I don't need half the shit that these boxers need. I'm my own marketer. I'm my own promoter. I'm my own distribution channel. I sell my own tickets. I sell my own merchandise. I talk my own. I'm disrupting the system right now. And the people who are haters are going to hate on that. And the people who have open minds and want to see dope shit happen, they're going to support me.
So will you ever align yourself with a promoter?
I don't think so. No, I mean, there's no reason. I mean, Uh, I think if anything, like, maybe a little hint, but I'm working on something where I'm going to become a promoter. So, at the end of the day, you see these people like Ryan Garcia, who are the most popular boxers now. Why? Because he has social media. 4 years ago, Ryan Garcia DM'd me and was asking me to be a part of my social media team. He wanted to be a part of that because he's smart. He knew that social media presence would grow him into being one of the biggest boxers. So it's no different now. It's almost better to sell tickets and be a fighter who could sell tickets than it is to have the skill. And it's sad, but again, this is a business. Numbers don't lie.
So this will be under the Triller Fight Club banner. You're the main event, as you said, April 17th. How many fights are you contracted to with Triller? Is this just another, like, do you go fight by fight here, or do you have like an X fight deal with them?
Yeah, we're going fight by fight.
Okay. But you could go to someone else after. You could be on a different platform.
Yeah, but I mean, Triller's incredible to work with, and Snoop Dogg's commentating. Triller has the production value. They have the musical acts. They know how to put on an event. I mean, their first event ever was the 8th biggest pay-per-view event in history. So, what can we do here? Where will this land? We're talking on the phone. We're saying we want this to be the top 5 pay-per-view events in history.
And this will be available on all pay-per-view platforms, right?
Yeah, globally. And it's going to be distributed across the world as well.
Who's your head coach now? Is it still Flores?
Yes, BJ Flores. Jay Leon Love is helping me out. Jacob Chavez. So we have a solid team all the way across the board. And, if it's not broke, don't fix it. We're crushing these guys. And these people aren't lasting in the ring with me. And that's the same in sparring. I'm sparring professional boxers, professional MMA fighters on a daily basis. Undefeated guys, undefeated boxers, IBF world champions, WBA world champions. And I'm beating these guys, Ariel. I'm not you. I swear to God, it's the craziest thing. So, I haven't even really been able to show the world my skill at all. And that's what's funny about this is I've been in the ring for like 5 minutes in the past year. Like, I've only fought for a total of 5 minutes. So people don't even know what I do or how I fight at all. I haven't been able to show my inside game. I haven't even been able to show my combinations because these guys are just going down with one punch. So I'm excited. People are going to be shocked. They're going to themselves.
Where will you train for this fight? I understand you moved from LA, right? You talked about the distractions there. You needed to get away. Will you go back to Big Bear? Are you going to be somewhere else?
We're here in Miami training. I wanted to channel Masvidal's energy since he's in Florida. I wanted to link up with Masvidal. Spar
Will you?
Yeah. I'm linking up with Masvidal tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, he's gonna help me train for this fight, and hopefully I can knock Ben out faster than Masvidal did. I know seems like a lofty goal, but if I can get under 4.9 seconds, then I can break his record.
Are you surprised that the UFC allowed Ben to take this fight? He's under contract with them. They had to give him the okay. Are you surprised they did so?
Yeah, I am a little bit. I think when Ben loses, it's going to be a bad reflection on the UFC and the MMA community in general. And I can only imagine how much Dana White hates me. So, but I do know that this could be good for them as well. So, I don't know what their game plan is or whatever, but I am surprised that they let him out of his contract for sure.
Obviously, recently you targeted Conor, right? You made that offer for $50 million. You made it personal. You spoke about his fiance. Why did you go there? Why did you feel the need to go that far over the line?
I wanted to piss him off. I wanted to make a lot of noise, and I wanted to become personal right away. Because I truly believe I can beat Conor McGregor. And people don't want to watch a fight where everyone's going in there being like, hey, buddy, good luck tomorrow. Like, that's not the type of fighter I am. If we're going to go into a fight, no, like, I'm going to destroy you, and anyone you're affiliated with is a part of the wrath and can be attacked. McGregor's done it. McGregor has attacked Khabib's wife, Khabib's religion, thrown chairs at people. Like, this is the fight business. If people are going to get offended, then get over it and choose a different sport. Go do gymnastics.
To the best of your knowledge, was that ever considered, that fight?
McGregor?
Yeah.
For sure. His manager, Audi, was like, send proof of funds or else this conversation ends right here. Who the is this kid to talk about Conor's wife? So we send the proof of funds. I think his tail goes between his eyes, and he's like, oh, this is not a joke. And looking in hindsight, McGregor got paid a $5 million guarantee to get knocked out by Poirier. You should have taken the easy fight for $50 million, right? So he literally just got knocked out, embarrassed in front of the whole entire world, the worst fight he's ever had for $5 million. But he could have fought a YouTuber kid for $50 million. So I think now they regret it. I don't even know if I would consider, like, I want to fight McGregor, but it's just not as hype as it was before. I think he has to go get some wins under his belt, and then maybe I'll consider it.
He made more than $5 million though, right? Like, that's just what they disclose.
$5 million base. No, for sure, but $5 million base.
I don't even know if that's true, to be honest.
Pay-per-view let's say he made 30 million total. I'm guessing that's probably what he made, 30 million. That's still 20 million less than 50 million. And by the way, this is 50 million guaranteed, Conor. You're still getting the back end on the Jake Paul fight as well. The Jake Paul versus Conor McGregor fight sells 2.5 million pay-per-view buys at $75. And those types of numbers are 200 million plus gross.
When you say that he got embarrassed, I understand where you're coming from, but do you at all see why some would view it as disrespectful to a guy like Dustin Poirier? I mean, Dustin Poirier is one of the greatest fighters in the history of the sport. No shame in losing to him. So why would that be embarrassing for Conor to lose to him, in your opinion?
I think it's embarrassing because he already knocked him out in the first round. It would be like me fighting Nate Robinson a couple of years from now and Nate Robinson knocking me out.
Sort of.
I'm not gonna.
Poirier's a real fighter.
I'm not gonna let that happen. And Conor has a lot more to lose than Dustin. Conor, has access to better training, better coaches, better science, better everything than Dustin. And for him to drop the ball on it, okay, maybe if it goes 5 rounds and it's a battle and it's like a Diaz fight and he barely loses, cool, but he got knocked out, didn't know where he was, limped out of the stadium.
What's your dream fight? Is that it? Like, if you could choose one opponent, is it Conor or is it someone else?
I think it was, and like I said, like how fast this changes in the sport. A week ago, Conor McGregor was on top of the world. Now he's ranked probably like number 7 in the UFC. He can't even win at his own sport. So I don't even know what my dream fight is at this point. I think I'm going fight by fight. I don't want to overlook Askren. Like I said, Bellator champ, 1 championship champ, 2-time NCAA Division I wrestling champ. I'm not overlooking Askren. You have to understand, he literally has less losses than McGregor. He's finished 12 fighters. He's a serious opponent. He's my hardest opponent on paper to date. So I think it's one fight at a time. I don't know what the dream fight is, and we'll see what happens.
I noticed on your Instagram you only follow 2 people now, Triller and Ben's wife. Why is that?
She thick, bro.
She's what?
She's thick.
Okay.
With like 2 C's, like THICC, thick, like she's real thick. So I don't know, like I just thought she was bad. So I don't know. I mean, maybe after I beat Ben, I don't know.
He when I spoke to him earlier, he's like, this kid's he's a clown, he's a YouTuber. I think there's an angle building here. Like, he'll do this for the fighting community. Do you feel like this is Jake Paul versus MMAs? Is Jake Paul versus the like how is this being billed in your mind?
Yeah, I think it's Jake Paul versus every single Jake Paul hater. That's one, and then there's Jake Paul versus the MMA world, and then there's Jake Paul versus Ben Askren. You know, he is seriously underestimating me, and I'm watching it unfold, just like Nate Robinson did, just like all my opponents do, just like everyone does. People don't get it. People don't get me. They don't understand me. They don't understand my ability. They don't understand the vision I have. They don't understand the roadmap. They don't understand how serious I take. They don't see what I do when the cameras aren't rolling. They just see this like loud, arrogant kid talking on his Instagram being, and that's what I want them to see. That's why I'm a marketing genius.
How
And
many
that's why
pay-per-views? Sorry to interrupt. Sorry to interrupt. How many pay-per-views do you think this sells?
Man, it's hard to say. It's hard to say. I just I want to break records. I mean, it could sell all the way up to 2 million. It could sell 1 million. You know, this is a test for me. This is a test for me. You know, a lot of people were like, Jake, the only reason people watch your fight is because Mike Tyson was a part of it. That's the only reason there was pay-per-view buys. That wasn't your pay-per-view. I disagree. You know, I coming into the fight, there's more interviews of me online. There's more videos with millions of views of me promoting the fight. There was more Google search results around Jake Paul going into that fight. And the Triller CEO said Jake Paul was responsible for 50% of these pay-per-view buys. He said that in a statement. And I'm not sure how they tracked that or where that came from, but that's what he said. So if it sold 1.8 million pay-per-view buys, that means I sold 900,000 in my second fight ever. So, you know, who knows what this fight's going to sell, but I think it's going to do numbers.
How much are you worth?
I don't know how to answer that. I mean, priceless. I think, seriously, like, I think the trajectory of where my career could go, you can't even put a number on it right now.
And so you have a lot going on. You're a rapper as well. You've got all the social media stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Can you say with certainty, like, is boxing your number one focus? All that other stuff is on the side. Like, you 100% focus now the next 82 days on Ben Askren? Is that top of mind?
100% boxing is number one focus. Everything else is on the back burner. You know, this is what I love to do, and this is what I'm getting paid a ton of money to do. The other stuff is cool. I can keep up with it. I have a song that I might drop that I've recorded before. I have a couple YouTube videos. That's easy for me. Like, it's not even hard. Like, I already mastered that. That's the easy. I can put out a YouTube video. I got 19 editors. Got 19 producers to send the beat. I can go into the studio, like, easy. So now it's time to master boxing.
You have a freestyle about Ben?
Nah.
Diss track, if you will. Come on, give us something. Spit some bars for us, Jake. Come on, you did it with Mike Tyson.
I should write a Ben Askren diss track.
You should do it to the funky song that he walks out to, but a remix of it. Come on, that's a good idea.
What a terrible nickname, like. Funky.
What about the gif of him like shadow boxing? What about that? I mean, that has to concern you, right? Yeah. Come on. That's impressive, no?
Nah, bro, like, that's why I don't get why he thinks he can win. I don't get it, you know? But at the same time, you know, I have seen him take a lot of punches, so he does have a chin at the end of the day. But we'll see. We're gonna put that to the test, Eric. We're gonna put his chin to the test, April 17th. Two
last details. Could you tell us what weight?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be around 190.
Okay.
I don't know what Ben walks around at, but I know he's like 5'10". I think he walks around at like around 175, 180. So
coming off hip replacement, by the way. I don't know.
Yeah, we're gonna have some catch weight.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay, and location?
To be determined. Will
there be fans?
Hopefully. I'm pushing for there to be an audience for sure. It was weird fighting without fans, for the last fight. It's just different. It doesn't even feel like a fight. Like it felt like just like a sparring session in a weird way. So I hope there's going to be fans.
Last question, for those who may be mocking this right now, or who may be saying, I've seen Ben get knocked out already. What am I going to see here? I don't trust his striking, or I don't want to support Jake Paul. You've seen it all. You've heard it all. Why should people buy this pay-per-view on April 17th?
I'm adding Ben Askren to my knockout meme collection. Everyone was posting it out of the Nate Robinson knockout. So you want to see one of the best produced Triller Fight Club events, Snoop Dogg commentating, musical performances, crazy undercards, like legendary undercards. And then if you want to see another viral knockout live and watch it happen, I mean, you're going to want to tune in. It will be one of the best events of the year. And I think it's going to be a really good fight. People are sleeping on Ben Askren, saying, "Oh, you're boxing a wrestler." Well, guess what? He's boxing a Disney Channel actor. So, at the end of the day, it's war. It's a death match, and it's two guys with a lot to prove, a lot riding on the line. The whole MMA community is banking on Askren to knock out Jake Paul. You have my millions of fans wanting to see this knockout. This is going to be a movie, a literal movie. There's so much at stake. And if you don't watch the fight, you're the odd person out. You're going to have the FOMO. So tune in April 17th, and you're going to get your money's worth.
And by the way, could you tell us the other fights on the card, since you're essentially the promoter? What else you got?
We're locking them down. We're locking them down right now. But there's going to be announcements to come, some big names, some influencers. So we're making this a movie.
All right, Jake, appreciate the time. Congrats on the fight being announced. Good luck in training, and of course, good luck on April 17th.
Thank you, Ariel.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.